good morning, and God bless you. I am Orlando Daniels with 91.1 The Boss. You are tuned in to today's entrepreneur, and today is a wonderful and exciting, not just an event in relations to my guest, but being able to call it a historical moment. This gentleman here has actually changed my life, have been a very instrumental part of my transition from Atlanta to Houston. I have in the studio with me this morning, celebrating 15 years in the barber industry, Mr. Andre Lewis of Main Event Barbershop. Have some of the barbers that I work with on a consistent or regular basis, along with his beautiful daughter. If you all see her, her name is Journey. Say hello, Journey. Wave at them. They can see you a little bit. I have Mr. Kwame sharing with us, Kwame Jackson. I have Darian Hudson and Carl. We had this talk in the background. I cannot pronounce his last name. Go ahead and tell him your last name for me so I don't mess it up.
It's Ernazine.
Ernazine. Carl Ernazine. We were talking about it. I just didn't want to say Mythazine or anything crazy. So I want to give Andre an opportunity actually to talk to us in regards to who he is, how long he's been in the industry. I'm going to share a little bit about our history, how we met and things of that nature. But go ahead and introduce yourself, Andre.
Andre Lewis. I'm the owner of Main Event Barbershop. I've been in the business for 28 years. And today, July 1st, makes 15 years.
Wow.
At Main Event Barbershop since we've been open, 2004.
I remember meeting Andre. I was in what is considered to call transition. It's like one of the most painful periods in my life, or it has been one of the most painful periods in my life. I was going through a divorce, transitioning to a new city and state. He had the hottest barbershop, and when I first met him, I called him over the phone. He didn't have any chairs available. And then I went back to Atlanta and then called back again. And I literally prayed and asked, God, hey, if you've ordained for me to be in Houston, I want to work at this barbershop. He's got a great clientele. So when I call, he's going to have a chair available. So when I called him up, he literally said, man, I just got a chair open today. And so, how long would it take you to get in the city? And I came in, and from day one, he has actually been like a big brother to me, a close friend, a mentor. I've learned so much. I've been in the industry 34 years, but I have been able to learn a lot from him. So here's my question. Where did the name Main Event come from?
So when we went into business in '04, we wanted a name that we could take anywhere in the city, state, and country, as opposed to just having a local name like Andre's Barbershop. I wanted something that'll be more national, so we went with Main Event. My wife actually came up with the name, and it turned out to be a good name.
How important is the name or the branding of a particular business, especially in this industry, being able to utilize the name that's associated to your brand and not putting limitations or caps on it? How important is it when you selected your name? Because you mentioned not wanting to name it Andre Lewis or Andre's Barbershop.
Right. So you want a name that'll reach the masses. Like I said, you don't want a name that'll just confine you to a neighborhood. So when you pick your name, not only should it appeal to the masses, but it should include everybody that might want to come be potential clients of the shop.
Okay.
You have some shops that are in the name, it'll say grooming salon for men, but you alienate a whole segment of their population, the female client, who will also frequent your business.
I agree.
So that's important that you have the right name to include everybody.
What made you decide to become a barber?
So I'm second generation barber. My dad was a barber growing up. I used to go to his shop, hang out with him all the time. Learned the business without really knowing I was learning the business. And when I got out of high school, that's what I wanted to do.
Okay.
So I went to school to get my barber license. At 18, I had my barber license, and the rest is history. It's the only job I ever had.
Wow. Let's bring some of these guys in. Same question, Kwame. Introduce yourself, and I want to get you to share what made you decide to become a barber, and that question is going to go throughout.
Okay. My name is Kwame Jackson, known as Kwame the Barber. And what made me want to become a barber is because I just really wanted to be my own boss. I was tired of making other companies millions, and I'm still kind of penny pinching. So I became a barber.
Okay. Darren?
My name is Darian Hudson. I'm from Monroe, Louisiana. I became a barber back in 2011. I also started out doing women hair back in 1986.
Okay.
In Monroe. I picked up the trade after coming out of high school of doing women hair. I started out doing females, and I transitioned from the female into doing men hair as well.
How hard was it for you to transition from doing women hair to now becoming a barber, and then some of the caps that they have within the industry that you can't do certain things when you go from being a hairstylist to now being a barber?
Right.
How hard was that transition?
The hardest thing for me was it really wasn't hard because I had been cutting hair since I was in high school.
Okay.
So I started out cutting my own hair, and then from there it just took another step forward into the business. I made some mistakes along the way, but into this business, it's gonna have to transition from something to something. So once I started doing hair, I wasn't able to cut hair every day, so I just took the flow of doing women hair and combined all of it into one. So now I'm just basically doing men hair now.
Okay. Carl, same question. What made you decide to become a barber?
Well, when I was younger growing up, I was always doing things like, sports. I always thought about I was going to the NBA. A kid, I always want to go to the NBA. They have that football thing in their mind. They want to play football, basketball, sports, anything like that. But not knowing once you get older, you really have to make real money. So, I told myself if I wasn't going to go to the NBA or play sports or anything like that, I was going to be a barber. I was going to cut hair, talk to kids, try to get kids' minds correct to, do things positive in life. Because I know behind the chair you get to talk to kids and get to talk to a lot of people.
Okay, so that becomes a platform by which we all know that we have influence. We have, it is said that some of the greatest deals are closed not only on the golf course but within the barbershop, and we all know the history within barbershops and how some of the civil rights movements and things of that nature had transpired in as a meeting place for barbers and politicians. Question actually for Andre, being an entrepreneur, being a business owner, being a father as well as a husband, how do you balance home life and work life? How do you balance it? Especially knowing Journey, she's got a lot of energy. She is it. But I know that's your life and that's your love. And I remember how we just believe God altogether. Now she's here and she demands your attention.
Yeah.
How do you do it?
So that's right. So,
He gives you a cookie.
sometimes it's challenging balancing home life and work life. As you can see, I got her with me right now while I'm working, but I don't mind whenever I can bring her with me to see Daddy work. That's okay. But you just gotta manage your time. It's 24 hours in a day. I gotta work 8 hours. I gotta play and spend time with the family 8 hours. I gotta sleep 8 hours. And anytime I take a minute away from any of those 8-hour blocks, something else is gonna suffer. So with that in mind, it's an 8, 8, and 8. You got to balance it out. There's no other way around it.
Now, I know you personally, and we have a relationship outside of business. We're just friends. And I've watched your transition in eating poorly, eating bad, just bad things. And so now you've incorporated eating healthy, working out. So that's another thing that you've added to your plate. Right. How do you actually... he makes the smoothies with the peanut butter and the oatmeal and all that craziness in it. Because he done tried to get me on it, and anybody who knows me, that's just not. Y'all just pray for me because that's just not it for me. But how do you incorporate working out? Because we all know that those who are successful, and one of the things that I've been gleaning in relations to those who are successful, Warren Buffett, all these kinds of people that are actually doing things, they get up early in the morning. And when I met you, that was the first thing that we realized we had in common. We started cutting hair about 5 and 6 in the morning.
Right.
How do you still remain consistent, home and work life, exercise, eating healthy? Because for us as barbers, we just eat whatever comes in the barbershop, what's close by, what's convenient, and that's probably, now you're a lot more healthier than all of us. and then also being a lot more healthy, I think you're closer in age with me, and then us being poorly in how we eat. How do you do that? How was that transition for you?
Well, it took time. A little at a time. I wasn't able to just stop eating bad one day and start eating good the next. I incorporated stuff into my diet and my routine a little at a time. And what you find is over time, you'll look back and realize that you've done a total 360. And it doesn't seem like you put as much effort into it when you do it that way. So just doing it, being disciplined with it. As far as the diet goes, I pretty much eat the same thing every day. I pretty much go to the gym the same time every day, and that goes back to the 8, 8, and 8 that I was talking about. You got to have it in order, and you got to have it disciplined, and you got to stick to it, and it becomes routine, and it gets easy.
Man, I'm just gonna say it. I lost my best friend when you changed your diet. Because when I first moved here, Andre was, like I said, he was very instrumental in helping me to get settled in Houston, making the transition. He was a part of my life when my mother passed. Just major moments in my life. We've been connected, whether I was in the city, out of the city. Doing other things, transitioning, opening up my own place, my own business, being supportive, being a friend. But he took me to all the restaurants. I learned, Chipotle was one of the first places he took me to eat. I think he got stock in it. So, but here's something that I actually want to throw out to all of the barbers, because when we consider the industry, we all know that people are looking for a place, an atmosphere, where they feel comfortable, safe, and it doesn't come with everything. And we've all seen the movie Barbershop, and people's perception of a barbershop comes with what has been portrayed. But what would set each of you apart from any other barber? If somebody wanted to come and patronize you outside of just coming to Main Event, if they were coming to Kwame or coming to Darren or coming to Carl, what would set each of you apart? Who wants to answer that question first?
Ooh, that's hard.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Well, set me apart. I try to be as clean as I could be.
Okay.
You try to be more professional, more clean cuts and all that. That'll make you set apart, set you aside from the rest of them. And, being respectful.
I think when we consider skills, and you can be talented and skillful in that particular area or industry, but you still have to learn the professional side of doing business in this industry. And I think that's where a lot of barbers miss it, is that, and that's some of me and Andre's conversation, is that the industry has changed so much that we also know that in order to compete, we got to be able to provide services or be competitive in relations to what we do outside of, because we know everything is changing. We got man weave now. We got all kinds of stuff. And then Andre made mention of grooming salons, and now men are actually being more into their facials and caring for them, a little bit more grooming than normal. It was just basic, simple stuff, getting a haircut and then just going out the door. 28 years in the game, 15 years as an owner. What have you seen change, Andre, in regards to going from working for someone to now employing others? What have you seen?
The industry's changed all around. It's a lot more saturated than it was when we started 15 years ago. It's a lot more barbers, which makes each client that come through the door more important. They're a commodity because there's not as many clients available as it is barbers to service them. So that's definitely been a change. The other thing that's changed is the services that we provide for men, like you just said. A lot of men are getting hair color now, and a lot of men are getting weaves, the big beards, and you have to stay abreast on being able to provide those services, or you'll dwindle out of the business. If you can't keep up, the business will pass you up. So the type of services that we provide is what I've seen change in the business more than anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Here's something, because we have a few more minutes, and I want to give you the opportunity to share for those, especially for the guys who work with us. We know eventually they desire to own their own business. We're all independent contractors. But what are some of the pitfalls that you've experienced as an owner? And then what kind of wisdom would you leave behind or instill to not only those who are listening and watching, but even the barbers that are here that are employed at Main Event? What would be some of the things that you would communicate and say, hey, this is something you need to consider and do to be successful in this?
So regardless to whatever business you're in, the most important thing is knowing your business inside and out and understanding the numbers. It's one thing to be a barber or a stylist behind the chair, but once you actually go into the shop and open a business, you have to know more than how to do hair or cut hair. You have to be a manager of people. You have to know a little about real estate to make sure you're getting the right deal. You become a janitor, and, a maintenance man. You have to learn a little bit about plumbing. You have to learn a little bit about electricity.
We got to put in work.
You got to put in work. A lot of people are great stylists, but they're not great business people, and those are the parts of the game that goes with being the business owner that a lot of people might not consider when they go into business. And that's whatever business you go into. It's more to it than what you're good at. So when I talk to guys about having their own shop, I try to make sure they understand all the nuances and the stuff that's hiding behind the door that people who own shops usually don't talk about.
Okay.
That's important.
That's important.
Yeah.
Let us get you to give some information so that people can not only follow along with us and stay connected, come out and see not only the renovations. We've done some wonderful things. You've done some wonderful things in the renovation process of more than one location. But go ahead and give them the Instagram, the website, the general information so that they can come and patronize our place.
Okay, so on Facebook, we're maineventbarbershop.com. They got a couple of main events around the country, but our main event here is the one you'll see with the logo on our profile. That's the same as the t-shirts that we're wearing. It's Main Event Barbershop on Facebook.
Yeah.
On Instagram, it's Main Event Barbers _Houston. So go check out the pages. We'd love to have you follow us, and we look forward to seeing you at the shop.
Hey, there are employment opportunities. If you are a licensed barber or stylist, you want to get in contact with not only myself but Andre Lewis. But go out and patronize the locations. We're located actually on 1701 FM 1960. 77090 is one location, and the other location
9559 FM 1960 between Jones and Perry. 77070. We open 7 days a week, Sunday to Monday. So feel free to drop by any day.
Come through and see us. It's 4th of July coming up. Come on and get taken care of. Thank you so much, Carl, Darren, and Kwame. This is the crew I work with. These guys cover me even when I'm not in the shop. They can be the headache, but they are a bunch of guys who are serious about becoming more than what they are. And so I love each of you. Thank you so much for being a part of 91.1 The Boss, today's entrepreneur. And we wish you all the much success beyond 15 years, homie. I'm going to still be around.
Oh, yeah.
Much love.
Thank you for
Appreciate
having
you, fellas.
Oh yeah,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.